I feel so motivated, like so certain that my business model will be successful. Like it has the potential to be very successful. Like I'm very convinced. I don't think I've been more convinced as I am right now, but at the same time, ironically, I'm also very kind of like demoralized.
How do full-time employees like us do everything it takes to build a thriving online business today? How do you not become a statistic of another failed business, all while balancing full-time career and life? We don't have all the answers, but we're figuring it out. Welcome to Entrepreneurs with Jobs.
Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Fisayo.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm great.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody. YouTube, podcast land.
Yeah.
This is Entrepreneurs with a Job. What's up?
That is correct. We're back again. Another episode.
If we record another one after this, we can finally release.
Yes, once Jeff edits them.
And we'll have a cluster.
Correct.
So, a quick tip: when you release a podcast, you want to have multiple episodes, so that when people, because they're going to look at your listen time. Your
history. Oh. What is that?
Your listen time. So one of the things that you want to try to get into is iTunes new and noteworthy. Okay. So then that's where you get featured on the front page. And for that, you have to have like a certain amount of listens. And if you only release with one podcast, it's a lower chance of you getting on there. So you release with a few, like 4 or 5.
Got you. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, good to know. Early tip of the day. All right. Well, given that today is Christmas Eve, well, I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, but over here today, it is Christmas Eve. So, happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Happy everything.
Or nothing.
Or
if
nothing
you're Jehovah.
Well, this is true.
Right?
This is true. We gotta cover our bases. So we don't want to leave anyone excluded. So happy if you are happy.
Happy.
Okay, so like what we typically do, we start off with we have 3 parts. First part is just checking in, see how we've been doing this past week. And then we'll share some of our goals for the next period. And then at the end, we'll leave you off with some tips. So with that said, Jeff, how's it going? What have you been up to? Oh, also, we're going to be reporting back on our goals from last week.
Social accountability.
Yeah, lots of pressure. So Jeff's going to tell you how little sleep he had last night, but I'll let him do the honors. So Jeff, tell us, how's it going?
So before yesterday, I was sleeping at 8:30 and then waking up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then
I will say work. I checked in on Jeff about
the one time I went to sleep
3 nights ago. Jeff told me that he always gets up at 3:30, so I was pretty impressed. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to get up myself. I got up at 3:30 that day. I texted Jeff at 4 o'clock or
crickets.
And like, Jeff, are you up? And nothing. And
I came late. I came to work late that day.
Supposedly that's the one day, but who knows? Anyway, Jeff, tell us how your week has been.
Yeah, Fisayo actually inspired me to wake up earlier. She's like, I wake up at 3. I was like, you know what? I need to wake up at 3.
With 3 kids and a husband.
With 3 kids and a husband and a mortgage.
So, what have you been up to?
So I finished the podcast. So I edited one of the podcasts with me and my friend. He's a men's life coach, basically. And we're going to Brendon Burchard's Influencer 2019 event. So we had like an hour and 20 minute long conversation. So I edited that, put that up, and then I also recorded a video because I had to, because I don't want to get on this podcast and be like, did you record that video? And I'm like, no. So I recorded the video and it's uploading. It should finish by now.
Got it. Nice. So you met your 2 goals that you set last week, and that's awesome. I'm happy that you did that. So congratulations.
And the podcast is now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and like 3 other areas where you can download them.
Nice.
So that took like 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, because there's like some technical errors I had to fix.
Okay. And do we know the name of this podcast?
It's Dating Update.
Dating Update.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So after you subscribe to Entrepreneurs with Jobs, make sure you hop over to Dating Update and subscribe.
You can. It's good for mostly guys, especially if you listen to the earlier podcast, because the earlier podcasts are a little ratchet. But
no judgment.
I've edited out a lot of a lot of the controversial stuff from the very beginning, or a lot of stuff that I wouldn't want my family to to find. So it's relatively tame.
Jeff, you seem a little embarrassed about, because remember the last time I asked you about this podcast, the name, you weren't really comfortable to give out the name.
Well,
so.
now you can listen. Now you can listen to it.
Okay, what is it called again?
Dating update. It's on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, all of the above. iHeartRadio, Pandora.
Okay.
Google Play.
All right.
So I got it on everything.
Good job. Really glad to hear that you took that step. And sometimes that's always the hardest part.
Yeah, and then editing it so that people can listen to it. Because the old podcast was like, I don't know if I should keep that. I was like, it's fine. No one that I know is going to listen to it right now.
It's kind of sad when you do something hoping they don't want you to know.
Yeah. Well, we have surprisingly, we have a pretty dedicated audience from because it was opened in 2015.
Nice.
And then we took like a year break, but you can't tell because if you're listening to it now, you won't see the timestamp. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Good. Anything else you want to share from past week, or?
Let's see. No, finally, just the website is finally up, running. The blog post is formatted, and like I'm gonna start one of the new goals for 2020 is to start posting on social media.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'll probably for Twitter it'll just be like an automated script that posts the blog posts and stuff to Twitter. But then for Instagram and Facebook, it'll be content.
You'll actually manage.
Yeah, for the
content.
meantime. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, good to hear. All right.
Yeah, that's the update. And then I stayed up till like 3:30. So the time that I would wake up normally, I stayed up editing because the audio quality was inside a car and I didn't know it was going to be that bad. So I had to figure out how to edit it so it's tolerable. But yeah, it's a good podcast. I talk about some sexual shame and growing up. And then my friend talks about how I was unhappy even though I was going on a lot of dates. So it's a good podcast of like seeing where the new direction is and where we came from.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day we can say the same about this one.
Yeah. Yeah. This one. This is like a time capsule.
Yes.
We're just gonna open it up and listen. We're like, oh,
wow, it's amazing.
Wow, we made a lot of progress.
I know. One day. All right. So,
what about you, Fisayo? You were telling me this morning.
Oh, I know.
You got some stuff to share.
I don't know. I'm always venting. Like I'm always like going through the motions, and it's the journey, as you all can probably relate, is sometimes just lots of up and downs. And so, well, before I even get into a lot of my emotional baggage, I'm gonna just talk about the goals I set last week. So as I shared in the last episode, one of my immediate business goals is to start pitching to boutiques. And in order to do that, I need to put together some artifacts and some documentation, specifically line sheet, which is really just an informational sheet that has samples of my images of my products, some details, pricing, SKUs, just the key information that whoever would want to purchase in the wholesale would need to know. So I've been kind of putting it off, and I think it's really, I'll talk more about it later, but I'm really just fearful about this step, honestly. And so I've just been doing everything else but this. But my goal last week was to, in fact, put together the line sheet. And I did finally, I did do that. I have it done. Actually, let me show it to you guys because I brought it with me.
You can bring it to the camera.
I'll bring it to the camera. I'm not really proud of it quite yet, but one thing that Jeff, my buddy here, has encouraged me to do is just create your MVP. Just don't let perfection keep you from doing anything. So what I just went ahead with was just go ahead and, I went ahead and put together, what I was able to put together using what I have. And like I said, I told him this morning, like I'm not entirely super proud of it yet, but I think it's a starting point, and I'm going to work off of this to improve further. So that was my line sheet, and I guess really that's the bulk of what I've worked on this past week. I've also been doing a lot of research, and I think it's just part of that procrastination part where it's like, do some research. And, you just kind of like, click around, you're reading all these articles, and then you can't really have nothing to show for your time. But I force myself that.
The research wormhole.
It's very easy.
Yep.
You spend 2 hours doing research and you really have nothing to show. So I really try to force myself to ensure I had some, finished product that I could at least, if I had to go to a store today, I would have something to take with me. But like I said, I'm not completely satisfied with the quality. I'm going to do some improvement, but at least I have something. So yeah, that's what I did this past week, actually. I feel like I should have done more, but hey, that's what I did.
At least we have the set goals so that we know when we come here is like, okay, wait, I'm getting too distracted by everything else. I need to finish what I talked about. And
it's so easy, and as you all can probably relate, it's so, especially if you're an entrepreneur or just have a goal, it's so easy, especially when something is, I guess, possibly not comfortable for you. You want to do everything but that thing. And so really being disciplined with having goals and, actionable steps, it's very, very, helpful towards helping you get to your goals. So that's one of the reasons why we talk about our goals on this podcast, so that when we meet again, we are able to, it forces us when we're away to work on them, and that way we have something to share when we get together, because I'm not going to be the weakest link.
Me neither. I'm not going to go on the podcast and be like, so this is the third week in a row, or I didn't get done what I said I was going to do.
So yeah. But yeah, so that's what else happened with me this past week. Well, I think maybe just beyond the goals, I've just been going through some kind of ups and downs emotionally. Like it's kind of ironic because I feel so motivated, like so certain that my business model will be successful. Like it has the potential to be very successful. Like I'm very convinced. I don't think I've been more convinced as I am right now, but at the same time, ironically, I'm also very kind of like demoralized. Yeah, and I know it's like two opposites of the spectrum, and really my demoralization comes from the fact that I feel like they're missing skill sets, and that I wish I had, that I think if I did have, would help me get ahead quicker. Kind of going back to this line sheet, like, I have the content, but I know that it could look better. I know we shouldn't get hung up on design, like Jeff always tells me, but I feel like, when you open certain marketing materials, certain mailers, like they just have that look that just makes them look legit, and that's part of the branding, as you know. And I feel like I want to be that. Like I want when people interact with anything Elisa Mama, they see that quality, they see that excellence. And when it's not that, like I feel it just kind of burdens me because I can see that it could be better. And I'm really always sort of like, bothered by that. And I wish I had, someone who had that skill set. I wish I had that skill set. So knowing that I don't have it, and kind of seeing the promised land, but just not knowing how to get there, just kind of makes me feel a little bit like just demoralized, honestly. So I don't know. I'll work through it, but that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I'm optimistic, but at the same time, I feel like handicapped. I think that's the word. I feel handicapped.
Optimistically handicapped? Handicapped?
Optimistically
handicapped?
Optimistic, handicapped. So that's kind of what I have going on. But yeah, anyway. So moving on from that segment, we're going to start talking about what we're going to be doing in the next week. So Jeff, what goals do you have for yourself next week?
So I have to keep the content up. So posting another video, keeping the podcast going, and then working on the enhancements to the dating program that were given to us by current students. So there was feedback. There was one guy who gave us a long list of all the things that from the things that helped him, and then the things that he needs help with. So then looking at that list and being like, okay, here's how we can improve the program, and then let's improve it and solve the problems that he has, and then make it, even though some of that is inside the program, it's not clear. So then let's make this more specific or clearer, and then let's release it and see if it makes more sense or it works better for him.
Off of one student, though, you don't feel like you need more of a sample size to...
We reached out to all the students, and we told them the new enhancements that we were making in general. So we had the new enhancements of how we can make the program better based on just going through it. And so the program, so here's one of the, I'll get to this part later, but we released the MVP of the program. So it could be significantly better, but we're like, okay, let's just release this. And then based on the feedback that people give us, then we'll make it better because we could enhance stuff that they don't care about. So then based on the people who responded, which was 2 guys, but there's one guy who was just extremely thorough. And then, so we're going to focus on the people who are more vocal right now. And what they're asking for makes a lot of sense.
Okay, cool. So just to really be focused or be specific about what it is you're going to do next week, you're going to be posting another video on YouTube, you said?
Okay, I'm going to post another video, post another podcast. They're all, the video's not recorded yet, but the podcast,
So
there's a bunch of podcasts that are recorded. I just need to edit them and post them. And then for specifics is to record 3 of the things that he requested. So just to get a video and then address the issues that he's experiencing and make a new training video for those. So 3 new training videos to put into the program.
So you're going to record 2 videos next week? Or his video will be the video you're going to record next week?
No, the video for the YouTube will just be something on like a new keyword. And then the 3 training videos are pretty easy. I've already done the research. Most of it I could just answer off the top of my head and just looking into the camera, and then just record those 3 new videos, post it into the members area, and then have him give feedback and see if it works for him.
Got it.
And then post a podcast. So those are all the.
Oh, check you out.
Yeah. So I'm just moving along.
Okay. All right. Good to hear. Okay. All right. I guess I should answer the same question. What my goals are. So I'm going to create like iteration 2 of my sell sheet. Jeff suggested that I go on Fiverr. If I'm like creatively handicapped, I can go on Fiverr and find someone who can maybe help me spruce this up some to the level that I want it to be. So I will do that before next week with the goal of having, I will call version 2, which hopefully will be the version that I can start off with using right now. So that will be my goal for next week. Then I also want to put together an additional artifact, sort of like an informational, almost like a trifold document that has a brochure that I can also have accompany the sell sheet. And that brochure will just have some information about Alyssa Mama, some pictures of the team in Nigeria, and just some general information that I will put alongside with the brochure, with the sell sheet, a line sheet. And then given that, so next week will be, it's really kind of end of the year, because that's like it's still pre-New Year, right? I would have given myself the goal of going out or going to one store, but I feel like it's kind of awkward, like trying to even have this kind of conversation at this time of the year. It's so close to the end of the year. I don't know.
You're going to wait for the next year?
I'm thinking maybe that makes more sense to maybe wait until next year to start going to the stores, because I feel like people are like in a different mind space at the end of the year. Like, I don't think people are in a mindset to like make a decision or anything like that at this point in time. Or maybe it's just my way of procrastinating. Who knows? Anything is possible.
I have no idea.
Even I don't know. I can't trust.
I don't know the retail market.
I can't trust myself to. I really can't trust what I say, because, like I said, it could be coming from a place of like procrastination and fear, where I'm just finding another excuse to not go.
At least you recognize that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to keep myself in check. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just like go to like some. Well, you know what? Even if I don't go to a store, one thing I am also working on right now, and I'm going to try to finalize, is I'm putting together a list of like potential like stores that I could outreach to locally and also across like other states. So I can set a goal to have my list and all my contacts locked down by the next time we meet. In addition, I'm also my current goals is to be a guest speaker on podcasts. So what I'm doing in the meantime is putting together also a list of some of the podcasts that I could possibly feature on, and then my topics. So those are things that I would do before next week. So I will put together my list of stores, at least make some progress on that list of podcasts, at least have like 10 identified, and then put together my list of potential topics. I'll have that done, as well as my brochure thing and my line sheet by the next time we meet.
By next week? Okay.
By next week, yes. I know it's a lot, but I mean, you went for 5, so I mean, I couldn't just, I can do one. I'm pretty competitive, so it's on.
That's good. See? So this is why you need social accountability.
So yeah, that'll be my goal for next week. And those are really good because those are very like specific things. And granted, I might not be able to go to my store, but if I can get those things done, that puts me a step closer to get into those larger goals. So yeah, that's that.
And then most likely next week, since it's right before the end of the year, the next goal will probably be just an annual review. Besides all the other little goals that we're doing, the biggest thing will be annual review and then goal setting for the upcoming year.
Maybe we can even do that when we meet, kind of like, discuss our...
We could. Actually, we should just do it on the podcast.
Do our 2020 goals. Yeah. Break it up maybe 6 months, quarterly. Yeah. What's the main goal? And then we can
reverse.
Back it up into...
back it up.
Yeah, back it up. All right, so that's that. Now moving on to our
the tip.
Yeah, our tip of the day. So Jeff, funny, I haven't thought about it. I haven't thought about mine, but I'll let you go.
What go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, so this is the one that I told you earlier was use Fiverr. I've used Fiverr for logos. I've used Fiverr for research. I've used Fiverr for audio intros. I've used Fiverr for anniversaries where like they made like a website for me or they made like logos for me.
But how do you trust, like, because you go in a place like Fiverr, there's just so many people out there. Like, how do you know who's reliable?
Ratings.
Okay.
If they have like 2,000 ratings and they're like at a 4.5 star, 5 star,
they're likely
that's
good.
pretty good.
Okay.
And then it also tells you response time. It shows you the ratings and what people gave them, and then it also has a portfolio of their work.
Okay. So Fiverr.
And then you can find the most recent reviews, and then you can also judge it off that.
Okay, for those who don't know what Fiverr is, can you maybe give some information about Fiverr?
Go to fiverr.com. Fiverr is basically, if you know what the gig economy is, they're all freelancers. They're all freelancers from all over the world trying to do work. That was originally priced at $5, but now it's anywhere from
10 or 20
it's
or
like, here's like 5, but then here are all the add-ons, and then it will come out to like 60 or like
but
80.
But still, it's saving you time and keeping you from having to worry about something that's not necessarily in your wheelhouse. So
yeah, and then it's one of the ways for you to multiply your time.
That's true. Buy back your time.
Yeah, you can find really good freelancers for really cheap. You just have to do the research.
I have my list of my logo made on Fiverr. I don't know if I would particularly say I was like super thrilled with the outcome, but even I was a little confused when I was giving directions. So maybe that was partially my fault.
That was the tip I was going to give. Have very clear expectations of what you want. And then this also goes to like Agile. So for those of you who know Agile management or Agile development, you basically give them, what is it called? It's when
user stories.
The acceptance. The acceptance criteria. So basically, for that development or for that piece to be done, here are the things that it needs to meet. And then so when you have a clear definition of what you want with examples plus giving them, these are what I need to see for it to pass.
I'll do it myself at this point.
Well, if you could do the graphic design, then
no.
It does take work though. It takes work. Like hiring a writer takes work because it almost feels like you're doing the outline and that you should write it, but then like a bulk of it is just the writing or the graphic design part.
You know what would be cool if we kind of like, if you had like some Fiverr contact that you've used, that you've been successful with, maybe we can kind of keep a log and we can offer it, maybe, I don't know, someplace where our listeners can reach them for if they ever had any need for services in that line that they can just use. Because I feel like for me, when I initially went to Fiverr, I'm very overwhelmed by when I have too many options. Options overwhelm me. So like
they overwhelm everybody.
Exactly. So knowing that, okay, this is a list of tried and true people for whatever, I think would be very beneficial to our listeners. And I mean, even speaking for myself, I think I would find it very useful if I knew that, okay, Jeff or whoever has used this person and they had a good outcome for this particular need. Then if I ever had that need, I would be more comfortable going to that person versus any random Joe on Fiverr.
Yeah.
So something you can think about.
I'll think about that. For podcast intro, I know a person who makes great original music, but he's not on Fiverr.
Okay.
So for those people who are interested.
Well, I think just in general, maybe not necessarily just Fiverr, just anything like kind of list of like things that are useful that we've had to like kind of suffer through to, and then before we got to that, solution or that contact, I think if we can maybe have that running list just for reference,
Entrepreneur survival kit.
I guess maybe, yeah, and we can just keep adding to it as we discover new things and new tip that we can add to it. I think that could be useful.
That'd be a good free giveaway to get people on the email address. Well, I was thinking marketing.
Yep. No, yeah, and that would be something that, I mean, that's really saving you hours. It's very useful because, I mean, I know I struggle, as you all know. I think we've already talked about. There's just so many things outside of our core business that we have to end up becoming experts in, and so like having to go on a place like Fiverr or like trying to find someone who can assist you with other non-core business matters, that takes time and that's a headache that I'm sure we all can probably do without. So whatever we can do to help you, we're here for you. So kind of going off of Jeff's point, my tip that I'd like to share
of the day
of the week of the period is another good resource, Canva.
Canva. I love Canva.
Yes. Canva is another one that like you have to get on Canva if you intend to do any kind of social media, any kind of designing, anything. You need Canva. Canva is saving lives and is. Yeah,
it's putting graphic designers out of business.
Well, yeah, it would do that too.
Yeah.
So right now, that's
how good it is.
For my brochure that I'm working on, I'm actually putting it together in Canva. So, and I already started working on that today. And I mean, Canva just made it easier for me because it already has all these templates. It has all these graphics, all these fonts, and the great part about Canva is really the templates, I think, because it saves you a lot of the work. Like if you're not creative, like I am not creative, Canva is definitely the place to go. So it's Canva. You can download it onto your mobile devices or also use the desktop version of it. That's my tip of the period or day.
I use Canva all the time too. So all the podcast from the podcast art to the podcast templates for the blogs to even the presentations I've done on YouTube, they've been on Canva.
Yeah, Canva is definitely the truth. And for those who do listen to or have listened to the How I Built It podcast, because I stand for How I Built This, there's an episode with the founder of Canva on that podcast, and it would be cool to listen to it. So check it out. Alrighty, friends and friend. It's
we need to figure out what we're gonna call them.
I know. Hustlers.
Oh yeah, we can call what's up, hustlers.
Yeah, we're all hustling, right?
Yeah. What's up, hustlers? Yeah, we'll just call you that.
Yeah, you're the hustler. We're all hustling together.
I'll bring my coffee mug. It says hustle. I'll bring that one day.
All right, cool, very relevant. Yep. Okay, hustlers.
We'll get used to saying that.
We'll get used to it. It's a little rusty. It's odd now.
It's new.
We'll become fluid. Yeah. But yeah, it's been great. Another episode of Entrepreneurs with Jobs. And until next time, we hope you have a good week.
Yeah, get out there, take action.
Yes, do it. Bye-bye.
Bye. Jeff here, and a few things before you go. The music was produced by an amazing artist named Mayo from the Philippines. Check out his social media and information in the podcast description. Next, if you want to connect with other like-minded entrepreneurs who get it, then come join the Entrepreneurs with Jobs community. We host free in-person networking events, virtual workshops, and summits, and we have an emerging